And good morning. It's 7:03 on this Monday, August 26th. Time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody. We welcome you on a Monday, a little bit of liquid sunshine if you want to be a glass half full guy this morning. But the rest of us, it's just rain, but maybe not too much of it. But a good Monday morning to you. We start every Monday morning off with a representative from Absolute Kubota, and Don Hamlet is with us this morning, ready to say hello.
Good morning.
All right, good morning. We are certainly glad to have you with us, and you've been with us throughout the month of August. I guess next Monday is Labor Day.
Yes.
And so after that, it will be Jonathan's time.
Yes, it
and
will.
You won't have to be here early on
This
Monday
is correct.
for a month. But anyway, glad to have you today, and remind everybody that Absolute Kubota specializes in the sale of Kubota tractors, hay equipment, zero-turn mowers, and RTVs. They also carry Exmark mowers. Exmark is one of the top-selling zero-turn mowers in the country, and of course, they're located in the same building as Absolute Rental and Supply, which specializes in tool and equipment rental. Again, Don Hamlet is with us. Don is in sales at Absolute Kubota, which is open Monday through Friday from 7 to 6, 7 to 4 on Saturdays, and are located at 1325 West Main in Lebanon, behind Advance Auto Parts. Look for their big sign or the orange tractors. Their phone number is 615-449-6171. And the website is www.absolutekubota.com. You can also check them out on Facebook. Well, the Wilson County Fair's history, you had your presence there, and I guess it's like a lot of us. We love the fair. We anticipate it, but when it's over, we're kind of glad it's over, and it's another year before we do it again.
It's a lot of work goes into getting all the equipment out there and manning the booth and everything, but got to be done. Got to let people see you, let them know where you are.
Right.
So you got to get out there.
Well, you've got your Kubota tractors have that distinct orange color. They're well known, I think.
Very popular tractor. Yeah.
What in particular you want to tell us this morning?
I don't know. I just want everybody to know that as of right now, as far as Exmark goes, I know where their Radius S and X series, there's actually still right now a $1,000 rebate on those. All of our other equipment, all our Lampride or the Kubota, everything we have still have 0 down, 0% interest. All the equipment, 0.99 for 72 months if you want to stretch it out, 1.99 for 84 months if you want to push it on out a little further. I know the hay equipment, Jonathan handles most all the hay equipment. He does a great job with that. They've got the new programs where you can get some extra funds for those now and everything for their farmers that grow a lot of hay equipment. That's big. If you're not up to date on that and you have questions, just call in, talk to Jonathan. I'm pretty sure he can save you thousands on a disc mower. We have disc mowers, rakes, tedders, hay balers. We have all that stuff sitting in there. You can come look at it. When you purchase those things, there's a rep from Kubota that actually comes out with you, and they spend about 6 or 8 hours out with you, baling hay to make sure everything is working great, and then you're very, it's easy for you to make sure you can use your equipment before they just walk off. They don't just deliver it and drop it off and then there you go. But we do that. Want everybody to know that if you purchase anything within Wilson County, Trousdale, Smith counties, our areas that we service, your lawnmower, your tractors, they'll be full of fuel, fully serviced, delivered right to your door. We have that. We have a big parts department. Lance heads up our parts department. Any equipment that we sell, he's going to keep all your serviceable items in stock all the time. All your oil, your filters, your air, your blades, belts, all those things are always going to be in stock. And I know you and I talk all the time saying that if you're going to use a piece of equipment, it's going to need servicing sometime. Some people choose to do their own service. If you don't want to or you don't have time, we have a great service department back there. Got some guys that's got several decades years of experience all combined back there together. They're great. Can really take care of you. I always tell everybody that our guys back there can work on anything from a trimmer to a hay baler. So they can actually take care of it.
Do you find some people who put maintenance off and just go that's that old saying about you can pay me now or pay me later, but some people have a tendency to wait till they just have to do something.
Well, there's people you sit and you talk to them, you go through their owner's manual with them, and you walk over to the unit, and sometimes we lay down on the ground inside the showroom. You ask your customer, do you feel comfortable laying down here? Get down here. I want to show you something. You get up underneath the unit and you're pointing at stuff. There's a lot of people that don't know on this bit of equipment. There's an oil filter, of course, and it's real easy to see. It's up high, but there's also two hydro filters up underneath the units, and you need to change those. It's not very often. It's only like 250 hours of operation. That's pretty stretched out, but still, we've had people that are experienced, commercial guys that'll come back in and they'll have 700 or 800 hours on a unit. And they've never serviced those or anything. It's just like you said. It's just things that make stuff last longer and makes it run better when you service it.
But it is taking a chance to do something like that.
Oh yeah, that's pushing your luck, as they say. Pushing your luck.
You do have service after the sale. You have the parts. If you sell it, you pretty much got parts for it, and that's good to know.
Yeah, it's not. I don't try to scare people off from the big box stores. If that's what you can afford and that's exactly what you want, please go do that. But if you're looking for a place to where you can buy a piece of equipment, you're going to have knowledgeable people when you have questions. You're going to have service there when you need it. You've got parts there all the time. Like you said a while ago, we're open right now in the summer from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And 7 to 4 on Saturday. We all take Sundays off, but man, if you ever need anything, that's a lot of hours, and we're there for you to try to help you.
Don Hamlet, we certainly thank you for being with us, and we'll see you, I guess, in the month of October after a September break.
Probably be nice and cool by then, won't it, Coleman?
Probably be nearing frost time.
That's right.
But thanks for being with us today, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks, Coleman.
All right. Don Hamlet, he's in sales at Absolute Kubota, 1325 West Main in Lebanon, 10:30 after the hour. I have asked State Representative Clark Boyd to come and spend some time with us this morning. I don't know how many of you are keeping up with things, but we did have, I guess we call it a special session of the legislature last Friday, and I don't know whether you got through or not. Let me just say good morning, Representative Boyd.
Good morning, Coleman.
It's nice to have you here, and I appreciate you taking time. I know you, I called you kind of at the last minute last Friday, got you before, I don't know whether you were on your way to Nashville or you'd already there, but anyway, how about Monday morning? Yeah, I'll be there, and I appreciate it.
And I'm used to getting here about 7:30, and I realized I needed to get here earlier. But that's one thing you and I share in common. We never come early for anything, just right on time.
On time.
It's great to be here.
Well, what happened? What was the purpose of the session Friday?
Okay. So, Coleman, let me back up, and for the people listening, if they didn't know this already, I'll kind of give them a brief history. So the last week of the of session, which was the first half of the 111th General Assembly, a story came out about our Speaker of the House and some text messages between him and his Chief of Staff. And when they first came out, we all kind of thought, wow, that's going to be pretty bad, but he just ignored it. We were so busy in session that we that last week, you're there sometimes till 10, 11 o'clock at night, and we all were kind of wondering what was going to happen, but he simply ignored it, I think. And perhaps could have dealt with it, terminated his Chief of Staff, and would it have saved his career? I don't know. But he didn't do anything, and then it kind of spiraled out of control. Other text messages came out. He assured everyone that there were no others. He said he had no idea who the person was leaking them, and then he was called on the telephone talking to the person who was leaking them, and he went on the radio saying that he didn't know anything about it. So it kind of got out of control, and before long, everyone was calling for his resignation. Mm-hmm. And my opinion, and I think a lot of my colleagues, was that you can't be in a position like that and have issues like that looming over you and ultimately over the House of Representatives. And, his argument was, I didn't do anything illegal. I didn't. And for me, and like I said, a lot of people, we said, it really doesn't matter. You've been tried in the court of public opinion. This isn't going away. If you're going to be the Speaker of the House, you have got to have clean living. You've got to be married to one woman and not doing anything. And so we ultimately had a caucus meeting to talk about this, and it was a closed-door meeting just Republican caucus members. And he made his case. People stood up and made their case for why he should stay. People made the case for why he should go. And we were going to have a vote of no confidence. And there was an attempt at the very end to switch that to a vote of censorship, which I think he would have rather had, because that would have been, a slap on the hand and then, I won't do it again. Where a vote of no confidence sort of leaves you hanging in a position where your caucus doesn't even have confidence in you. And we were in a unique situation because you can't actually you can't kick the Speaker of the House out. And I had a lot of people in the district saying, kick him out, getting all these text messages or emails. You can't. Even if we relieved him from his state representative seat, which would have been unprecedented, and we probably constitutionally don't have that authority, even if we had done that, he could have stayed Speaker of the House. Nobody can remove him. The governor, we can't. He would have been there until the year 2021. And so we were in an interesting position because we were trying to talk him into resigning by showing him that we had no confidence. And so we had that vote. It was overwhelming that the Republican caucus had no confidence in him. He left there saying he was going to stay, but then later that night, as all of us started, we had been working, me personally, I was one of the ones behind the scenes kind of saying, you have to resign. You can't survive this. When we all started publicly calling for his resignation that night, he did announce he was going to resign. It was a date early in August, and so that set in motion kind of a race for who was going to replace him as Speaker of the House.
And so that
right. And so we had there were several people running, but we had 4 really viable candidates, I would say, maybe 5. One would argue, who was viable and who wasn't. But we had several people running, and it was all summer long. I've been shorthanded at my office. I haven't, you can't get away from state rep stuff. It just comes in when people need something. But I have been working my tail off at my insurance office. And then on top of that, taking phone calls, almost daily from people running from Speaker of the House, wanting to come take you to dinner and wanting to talk to you and make their case. And so that went on, the month of June and July. And I can't remember. I don't have the dates exactly, but eventually the Republican caucus came together, and we had an election. And the way it works, there's if 5 people are running, if you don't hit a majority, then we drop the lowest vote and vote again. And so we dropped one, and then we voted again and dropped another, and kept on doing that until I think we had just 2 people left in the end, and that was Cameron Sexton, who is the Speaker of the House, and then Curtis Johnson from Clarksville. Both great candidates, but Cameron won. And I will say this about Cameron Sexton. He's just a little bit older than I am. He's probably mid-40s. He's a banker from Crossville, and he is one of the most intelligent people, very polished. I've never seen him lose his cool. Very well respected, even balanced, can get along with anybody. He's really what we need at this point.
Did you support him most of the time?
I did, yeah. Well, I started off early on. There were like 5 people in the race, but everyone that was running, when they would come see you, they didn't care if they were your first choice. They just wanted to make sure that they were your final choice, because they knew that we might have a friend that we were supporting that wasn't going to make it to the 3rd round or something. And with Cameron, he said, as long as because I'm just to be candid, I don't mind telling, I was very close, or am very close friends with Ryan Williams from Cookeville, and he was running as well. And they actually are pretty good friends as well, and he knew that, and he came to see me, and he said, I know you're really close to Ryan, but he said, if he doesn't make it to the next round, can I be your second choice? And that meant a lot to me that he said, as long as in the end you vote for me. And I did support him. Once Ryan was out, he was my guy. And I really, in hindsight, he was the best choice. I mean, he absolutely has united the group. There are people that were nasty working against him, and he's not tried to punish them or anything. He's been very cordial, and we finally got our committee assignments, and he told me when he was running, I mean, he said people were trying to make deals. There are people wanting to be chairman. There were people wanting to keep chairmanships. There, and he said, I'm not making any deals with anybody. He said, I'm going to pick the best person for the job. And I knew going into that meant I could lose my chairmanship. I mean, I'm 1 year in, and he told me, he said, you're the best man for the job. I'm going to keep you as chairman. And Susan Lynn actually kept her chairmanship as well. And so there were a few changes that were made, but I found out last week that I will continue to chair my full committee.
Okay. This is a good place for us to take a break. Representative Clark Boyd is with us. We're a little past time, but let's take a break right here, and more coming up on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's 7:20. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and regular oil change, $28.95. That includes up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Crash involving injuries. Una Antioch Pike near Oakwood Forest Drive. That's your route that you normally take this time of the morning. Avoid that area there in Antioch, the cause of that crash. Vantage Way there at French Landing. It's a Metro Center on the 2-car crash. Briley Parkway near Brick Church Pike. That wreck just now occurred. It's really busy out here. You're going to
Do you know why Rocky Williams Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Mount Juliet sells so many cars, trucks, SUVs, and muscle cars? Well, it all starts with a simple idea. Why not give everyone a hassle-free shopping experience for their new or used vehicle with no haggling, no negotiating, and no runaround? Every vehicle on the Rocky Williams lot is marked down incredibly low with the price posted on the window. You're treated with fairness and respect every time. No pressure, just a friendly, warm, inviting staff dedicated to finding the exact vehicle you need. So Rocky Williams Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram has become the original no-haggle, one-price dealer. Go online to rockywilliams.com to see the incredible deals yourself. Every car and truck is listed with a no-haggle low price. This is for real, and you're gonna love it. People drive for miles to get some of the lowest prices in America on their new or used cars or trucks. Go to rockywilliams.com or come on over to our brand new spacious dealership next to Walmart in Mount Juliet.
It's a quick turnaround for your Titans, as this Thursday night, they play the Bears at Soldier Field. The award-winning Titans countdown's on the air at 6. Voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, and the head coach of Titans Radio, Dave McGinnis, have the call of Titans and Bears with a kickoff at 7.
Brought to you by Absolute Kubota Exmark, Bates Ford, Fakes and Hooker, Steve-Will Plumbing, and the Jewelers.
This is Wilson County's home for real country music and the Tennessee Titans. Real Country 98.9.
If you're a fan of Wilson County High School football, make sure to tune in to the Fakes and Hooker Scoreboard Show every Friday night after the LHS football game right here on WANT FM 98.9. Trent Perry and myself, John Boyce, will give you all the county scores as well as the entire mid-state. We will also interview each county coach after their game. The Scoreboard Show is brought to you by Fakes and Hooker, Designer's Carpet, Lebanon Appliance, Mitchie's Landscape and Design, Palmetto's Insurance, Sammy B's, and Kenny Salas with Blackwell Realty. That's the Fakes and Hooker Scoreboard Show every Friday night.
Thanks for joining us. We continue. State Representative Clark Boyd is with us, and so the new Speaker of the House is Representative Cameron Sexton from Crossville.
That's right, yeah, in Crossville, and he's been in the legislature, I think, since 2010, and I'm very much looking forward to serving under him. I mean, he already, just some of the dynamics, some of the way he's carrying himself and the way he's leading the organization, I'm already thoroughly impressed. And so,
did the governor wield any influence behind the scenes or anything here? Really,
none whatsoever. He stayed completely out of it. He said, "This is house business. Y'all pick your guy." And I think Cameron earned it the old-fashioned way. I mean, he would come visit you, and he would tell you up front, I'm not offering you anything. I'm just telling you why I think I'd be the best man for the job, and then he'd write you a handwritten note and mail it to you. I mean, he was he earned it the old-fashioned way, and there was another guy that was running around giving $1,000 checks to people trying to influence their vote, and Cameron did none of that silly stuff, and so he really is the man we need and for the job, and I'm very much looking forward to serving under him. But to continue the story, he actually was our caucus chairman before this, and so that created a vacancy for that position. And so he resigned. We knew we were going to have to replace him, but he set his resignation the day before I guess Thursday, which will be the day before the Speaker of the House. So we had a meeting on Thursday to determine who was going to be the caucus chairman, and there were several people that ran there, and it really came down to Michael Curcio from Dixon and Jeremy Faison from Newport, or from Cott County, somewhere in Cott County, and Jeremy Faison from East Tennessee, from Cott County, actually won, and so he's going to be is our new caucus chairman, and so he took that position on Thursday. And had to earn his pay real quick because we had caught wind that the Democrats were going to try to run a resolution on Friday to expel a House member that some allegations had surfaced back when he was a teacher in the 30-something years ago. And I want to say this: I was probably more political before I was a politician than I am now. Life is so busy that I'm aware of some things and I'll read a little bit, but I don't have time to sit around and stay on Twitter reading stuff or to get involved in a lot of the theatrics that is sometimes surrounds politics. And so I've got to say that I know that David Byrd, who's a state representative, and I don't even know the area he's from. It's a rural area. He was a teacher and retired principal, and last year some allegations came up from some of his former students. And I don't even know the details completely of what happened, but some inappropriate stuff was going on when he was coaching. And so, I sort of figured, well, he'll probably resign, and he didn't. And I haven't heard much, of a case from him. I just have heard what what you would see in the news, and then there were some protesters down there, and we thought, well, he'll probably get beat, and he won like 80% of his vote, and he came back, and so it's been an awkward thing for the House of Representatives having him there, because we don't really. Can you kick someone out for allegations that there's never been an investigation on, and they predated his time in the House of Representatives? So finally, like I said, Cameron, the new Speaker of the House, he didn't just ignore this. He actually requested the Attorney General to give us an opinion on that. And so he said, can you let us know, do we have that kind of authority? Because we don't want to do it and then the state gets sued for millions of dollars. That doesn't serve any purpose. And so he sent that to the Attorney General. We haven't heard back yet. My guess is we probably don't have that authority. I mean, I think even if we did relieve him, we kicked him out, and then they had a special session, he could run for his seat again in the special session and then come back. I mean, it's very unique. The voters in the district are really the only people that can get rid of a legislator unless you do something terrible while you're in office there at the Capitol. There were some circumstances, like they kicked out Jeremy Durham a couple of years ago. And so a state representative from Knoxville ran a resolution, and so what we did is the chairman of Judiciary stood up, and he actually, before she even got recognized on her resolution, he went to the front and he said, these are serious charges, and I think a lot of you want to know what happened. And we do too. So we're actually referring this because it wasn't parliamentary. For parliamentary purposes, it wasn't done properly because when the governor calls a special session for us to pick a new Speaker of the House, that's all we're allowed to do. Yeah. And so we couldn't take hers up anyways, but he said, let me take this back to Judiciary, have a special committee meeting, and let's investigate this to the best of our ability, within a House committee, and find out what happened and hear from these ladies and let them come speak and let us hear from the representative and make that determination. Of course, there was a lot of people were chanting up in the stands because they wanted him kicked out right then.
But Clark, if something had happened 35 to 40 years ago, probably over 35 years ago, and if it hasn't happened again, I mean, if he hasn't done anything lately, are we gonna? And it has never been brought to court. I mean, no charges ever been. That bothers me a little bit. We're supposed to be innocent till proven guilty, and I would hate for everything I've ever done, the worst thing I've ever done, to be plastered all over the news and everything, and we're going to get rid of you because of something you did 30 years ago.
Well, and I agree, and especially with there not being any due process.
Yeah.
because we just don't know. I mean, all I have heard is what people have said in the news or on Twitter, and the public doesn't understand that I'll get tweets all the time. And I want to say this about social media. Facebook's all right. You know, I get on there and it's just all my friends. Oh, thank you. You know, it's good seeing you. I don't rarely have anybody say anything negative, but Twitter, I don't even tweet, but I've got a guy that manages that for me, and he takes my Facebook post and puts them on tweets. And it is appalling. That is a cesspool. I mean, there are people you've never even heard of from across the state that follow you, and you can put up a picture of your kids on there and say, hey, me and the kids went to the fair. And then someone will tag you in a post or something and say, did you talk to them about child molester David Byrd? And I mean, and you're just like, good grief, can I not put a family picture up? And so I have been tagged for the last year, all of us have, from these people all around the country that are following this. They're just pestering you about it like we have the authority to relieve him, and we really don't. So, you know, we need that to go. We need to hear back from the Attorney General. We need to have it needs to be investigated at the committee level. There was a big hoopla, and of course, when we voted to send it to committee, the Democrat from Knoxville is now, she went on social media and said, all these people that voted to send it to committee, they approve of child molester David Byrd, you know, and you're just thinking, no, we're sending it to the to this body in the House of Representatives to take a look at it because we don't know anything. And then they tried to do it a second time with a second resolution, and again we referred it to the committee.
Well, I can't help but wonder if it was a Democrat, if the Democrats would be that anxious to get rid of him.
I don't know.
You don't have to answer.
Well, and then there was another. And I will say this, and I'm not here. I try to be, unless I'm running against one. I don't necessarily try to be, in a constant battle with the Democrats. There are some Democrats we work very well with down there. In the Republican Party and in the Democrat Party, you have show horses and you have work horses. Terry Ash told me that one time, and he said, show horses don't care if they get anything done. They just want to be in the spotlight, and they'll do things just to get attention with no regard to whether it's helping the team or moving the ball forward. And workhorses don't have to have the attention. Sometimes they'll get things done behind the scenes. And I try to be a workhorse, but there are some show horses, and we have them in the Republican Party. But we saw that on the floor, people grandstanding for those purposes. Then we had another Democrat state rep that wanted to file a resolution to condemn racism. And we did that last year on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We filed a resolution to condemn racism and to honor Martin Luther King Jr. And again, he didn't have the authority to do it because the governor called a special session and it had to go through committee. And our majority leader stood up and said, you can't file this. We're not allowed to, but we did it last year.
Right.
And he was like, well, that's a little bit different than the one last year. And if you don't take it up, then you're all racist. You know, is what he was trying to say. And it was another example of grandstanding. But the entire House of Representatives, when our majority leader called him out and said, no, we did this last year, and pretty much blasted him, everybody stood up. I mean, I think Democrats, Republicans, everybody stood up and clapped. So it was a unique session. It's hard to go in and do anything. Anytime you're doing the people's business, you've got it sprinkled in there, those little episodes, and so it was an interesting Friday.
Well, we're out of time. Thanks so much for coming out this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Coleman.
All right. State Representative Clark Boyd, and that's part one of Coleman & Company. Keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And it's 7:33. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota and Rental, fully staffed service center and parts department. Most of their minor services can be done the same day. Servicing Exmark, Kubota, Land Pride, Red Max, and Billy Goat, 1325 West Main. Now a traffic list. Check in with Chuck.
It continues now through Mount Juliet on 40 westbound. Be careful. It bunches up at times there coming past Highway 109. Traffic's on the increase as well. Now 65 southbound through Madison, Saundersville Road at Andrew Jackson Parkway. That's a wreck over in Hermitage. Old Murfreesboro Pike at Faircloth. That wreck may have some minor injuries. The 10th annual Oktoberfest coming up September 27th through November 3rd. Check it out, obergallenberg.com. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
Don't put off the things you should do today. Start a financial plan with Waypoint Financial Partners. Waypoint, your future, your way. For more information, call the Lebanon office of Waypoint Financial Partners at 615-444-6548. Securities and investment advisory services offered through AXA Advisors, LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA, SIPC, Waypoint, your future, your way.
Now you can get a great-looking cut in less time every time with an Exmark. The Mowers Landscape Pros trust 2-1 over the next best-selling brand of mowers. Step up to the Radius, the next great zero-turn rider from Exmark is today at Absolute Kubota, 1325 West Main Street in Lebanon. Exmark, ready to work for you.
The start of the work week is here, and unfortunately you will need the umbrella as you head out the door this morning. We'll see cloudy skies as we go through the day with scattered storms in the forecast. Highs will top out in the mid-80s. For this evening, we'll keep that chance for more wet weather around. Scattered storms will stay with us through the overnight with lows falling into the lower 70s. More rain chances through midweek. But your latest forecast, I'm meteorologist Nisa Lomax.
Coleman Company, welcome to part 2. It is a Monday morning. We welcome Monday mornings because we welcome Billy Mulligan to talk about Rocky Williams, Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram. That's always been a mouthful to me. Good morning.
That's a whole lot of words, Coleman, but good morning.
It is nice, always nice to have you coming from 600 Pleasant Grove Road in Mount Juliet, or maybe you're on your way there.
I'm on my way. Hadn't made it there yet, but I will.
You stop by here on Monday mornings.
That's right.
To visit us and bring me my second cup of coffee. I got a third cup this morning.
You did?
We'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, Billy is the general manager for Rocky Williams, where you find no haggle pricing. Everybody pays the same great low price.
Good morning, Coleman.
Good morning again. It's always good to see you. Saw you at the fair. It was a little rainy, but I was so thankful and so glad that the rain let up Tuesday night.
Yep.
We had quite a bit of rain early on,
we did.
Especially at the fair, but it was dry enough for us to go over there and have the drawing, and we didn't have to have our umbrellas like we did 2 years ago.
That's right. Well, and it cooled down quite a bit, Coleman.
Right.
It was really, very nice.
And I got to introduce you again with all the others.
Yes, you did. You always do a great job.
Well, we were... We'd had a plan, like at 7:15 we're going to do this, and 7:30 do this, and it was after 8 o'clock before we did anything. And I didn't feel I did my best job the other night, but we got the job done.
That's right. Still, really early on everything.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we had 5 minutes before we.
Of course, there wasn't many of the sponsors were not there either, so that tends to make it go by quicker.
Yeah, right. Well, anyway, that's over, and I'm wondering now the end of we're almost to the end of August.
The month actually ends next Tuesday, Coleman, the day after Labor Day.
All right. And by the way, we won't be here next Monday.
I figured that.
Will you be open at?
Yes.
You'll be open
yes.
on Labor Day at Rocky Williams. So all you people who have the day off can go there and find that.
That's right.
Car, truck, whatever you've been looking for. Absolutely. Well, we always mention RockyWilliams.com, your website.
I see. Coleman.
You also might see that car you want,
That's
or that
right.
truck, or that vehicle you're looking for.
You'll see all of them with our great low, no haggle price.
That's
Coleman.
what's so great about your website, in my opinion.
Yes.
That's as far as you have to go to know.
That's right.
Really whether you can afford it or not.
That's exactly right, Coleman. And that's the wonderful thing about how we do things. You don't have to guess or wonder if you could get it for less than what it is, or. And if you want to shop other places, you can do that without sending us any information. You can do it with, because it's all posted right there. And most dealerships do not do that. They've always got a button, click for your e-price, or click here for your best price, or call us to get your best price. And we give you our best price right up front.
Your no haggle pricing, the way you do business is just it's different. It's really, and I think it's made some changes. Some other people are maybe trying to copy you, but maybe don't want to go all the way like you do. But and I mean, stay right there. You establish that price, and you don't deviate from it.
That's right, and it's a very hard way to do business, Coleman, because you don't make the money per vehicle that most dealerships make. It's a very hard way to do business because when you can't deviate on your price, you have to come out with a great low price right off the bat, and one that other dealers, if they can match it, but they really don't want to, and a lot of times won't.
But you've got to have it, you've got to get enough out of it, though, as you say, to keep the lights on, pay the bills.
That's right.
You are in business to make money.
Absolutely.
Not give away cars.
That's exactly right, Coleman. And it's, like I said, it's worked very well for us. We have to sell a lot of cars, a lot more than what most dealerships have to keep the lights on. We have to have the volume, otherwise we couldn't do what we do.
Well, we always brag about your location there in Mount Juliet, 600 Pleasant Grove Road, which is close to Walmart and the sports place.
And Academy Sports.
Academy Sports. You're not far from the interstate, and you have a beautiful showroom. You have a great service department. You have just about anything you could want, I think.
Well, we've got a very comfortable environment for people to come in and either purchase or have their car serviced. We've got that beautiful 3,000-gallon aquarium that just mesmerizes people almost, and it's just a very peaceful environment to come in, and regardless of why you're there.
All right, and again, reminder that you will be open next Monday, Labor Day. We
Yes.
won't be open here. We won't see you.
Right.
Will you be there? You got the day
I'll be
off.
there. Oh, yeah, I'll be there, Coleman. I will be there.
Taking care of business.
Taking care of business, that's right.
And you already said your month ends the next day.
On Tuesday,
So
the 3rd.
next Monday, you might get a little bit better deal on your trade-in.
That's right. Well,
Might be worth
May a little
$200.
before then. Just come on in this week. It's the last, might as well say it's the last week, so your trade might be worth just a little bit more this week, Coleman.
Well, it's always good to have you. You get our Mondays off in Roaring, and hope you have a great week. And I guess we'll see you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks.
All right, thank you, Billy Mullinax, General Manager for Rocky Williams Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram of Mount Juliet, 600 Pleasant Grove Road. No haggle pricing. Everybody pays the same great low price. We're 19 and a half minutes away from the hour, and it is a Monday. And I'm going to introduce first Sue Bonata, who has taken the hot seat this morning. Sue, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
Brought me my third cup of coffee.
I know. I didn't know Billy brought you a cup, and I know you like that second one.
Boy, I do. And thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'll get around to it. I got to finish Billy's first.
I understand. Well,
How
those
are
are
you?
small cups. I'm doing great.
Good,
How about
good.
you?
I'm doing well. Good to see you. You got a special guest you brought this morning.
Yes, I do.
We'll get to that in a minute, but I
Okay,
just want
hold
to make
up.
sure
Okay.
everything. You survived the county commission, and I say that with tongue in cheek. You met last Monday night,
We did.
passed the budget, and Mike and I talked about that Tuesday. But I think with a 21-3 vote with one not present,
Right.
that says quite a bit.
That says quite a bit. Yes, it does. And you know, it's a lengthy process. We start working on it 2 or 3 months out, and it's it's a lot of decisions that have to be made, Coleman. Where's the money going to go? Is it going to go to roads, to the sheriff's office, to Weymouth, to the school system? It's a difficult decision, but when 23, 24, 25 commissioners can come together and make that decision and pretty much make it unanimous, I think that's good.
Well, you did vote for it,
Yes, sir.
and I think you're fairly pleased.
I am.
All right,
I am.
We'll move on to some other things. Not only are you a county commissioner, you also work here at the radio station.
I do, part-time,
You're
and
the
I love it.
Receptionist, is that your title, maybe?
I'm whatever Susie wants me to do.
But you work in the afternoons 4 days a week.
I work from 11:30 until 4, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
What a cushy job.
I know. Isn't it wonderful? Just like your job, you come in and work an hour 5 days a week, and then you got the senior citizen center and play cornhole. I bet everyone doesn't know that.
Oh, you got it. Well, you also have been involved with something else in fact, I think you pretty much initiated this a few years ago at the Wilson County Fair. Ms. Senior Wilson County.
Miss Senior Wilson County. Actually, another lady and I, Jeanette Haston, went to Crossville 18 years ago, and we were asked to judge, well, I guess it was 19 years now, we were asked to judge the Miss Senior Tennessee pageant. And we were driving home that night, and we were talking, and I was with the chamber then, and, we said, I think we could start a pageant like that in Wilson County. Well, it was really too late to have a pageant during the fair that year. So we started thinking, who can we get to represent us in April for the Senior Wilson County? And we called Miss Jewel Jennings. And Linda Spencer kind of recommended her because Linda goes to church with her and knew she had a beautiful voice and what a great person she was. So we called Jewel and she said, "You want me to do what?" But she agreed to represent us, and she came in first runner-up. Yeah. And that was our first state pageant. And then since then, we have had our 18th year. We just celebrated our 18th year with our pageant.
Did you start the second year at the fair?
We did. We started the second year of the fair. We've bounced around on different stages, and we're so thrilled now to have the Expo Center and have a permanent home.
Well, we have this year's winner with us, the 2019 Ms. Senior Wilson County Fair, and you can introduce her.
And her name is Natalie Sewell, and we're so thrilled to have Natalie. We had 5 contestants this year. All of them did a wonderful job, and our judges did an outstanding job and chose Natalie to represent us this year.
Natalie, good morning.
Good morning.
We're glad to have you with us today. I got to introduce you at the fair the other night. It's a great giveaway, and I'm sure that you're happy to be Ms. Senior Wilson County Fair.
I'm more than happy. I'm so excited, and it's been a wonderful week. I learned so much about the fair, how things operate at the fair. Had no idea all the work that goes into the fair. I learned a lot about sheep that I didn't even begin to know, and I've met so many wonderful and nice people. It was just a great experience.
You had any problem with Sue so far?
Not one problem at all. She's wonderful.
Well, I like to pick on her every once in a while.
He does.
And for those of you that can't see her because we're on the radio, she's beautiful.
Oh, aren't you sweet? Well, if you notice one thing about Natalie, I bet you haven't noticed this morning, she's not wearing her crown. And I said, "Natalie, you don't have your crown." She said, "Well, no one can see it. I'm on the radio." So that was a great answer.
I think very observant. Well, we're glad to have you with us. We want to find out a little bit about you and about the pageant, and we'll do all that after we take a break. But it is time for a break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:46. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. $39.95 with up to 5 quarts of oil, tax, and disposal. Tire rotation and safety check. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. I'm looking at this accident here, partially blocking a lane of traffic here on 65 northbound. It's going to be coming up from Brentwood, right before you get to Harding Place. It's just heavy. We would expect now at this time of the morning on 40 westbound, coming past the airport, Spence Lane here through Hermitage, Donaldson. Heavy down from the north now on 65 southbound through Madison, passing Briley. Briley coming through Bordeaux right now is also busy. Blue Hole Road at Bell Road. That's a minor accident in South Nashville. The 10th annual Oktoberfest, September 27th through November 3rd. Check it out over at Gatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
The Pavilion Senior Living residents are inviting you to become their new neighbor. If you're looking for a sign to move, call us at 444-5556 to learn more about the details. Or go to thepavilionseniorliving.com for more information. Or better yet, just drop by 1408 Medical Center Drive right behind Tenova Hospital and see for yourself. You should move here.
Gregory Dental in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from University Medical Center. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Hi, everybody. Tommy Bryant. Join me every Friday at 6:30. Lebanon High Football takes on some of the very best competition, brought to you by Absolute Kubota, D.T. McCall and Sons, K. Maynard State Farm Insurance, Fakes and Hooker, Lebanon Police Chief Mike Justice, Wilson County Sheriff Robert Bryan, Wilson Bank and Trust, Dickey's Barbecue Pit, and A.G. and Johnson Realty and Auction. The home opener Friday, August 30th against McGavick.
Coleman Company, thanks for joining us. Somewhat of a rainy Monday morning. Supernata, is it still raining a little bit?
It was when I came in. Yes.
Yeah, okay. And we do have Natalie Sewell, who is Miss Senior Wilson County Fair. And so, did you get encouraged to enter this? Is it something maybe you always wanted to do? How'd that come about?
Well, of course, I was in a few little pageants, when I was smaller and never really placed in anything. So when my granddaughter was in one of the pageants in the fair a few years ago, I heard that they had this pageant. But I had to wait a couple years to enter it. I had to make sure I was old enough, so I made that this year. And I just thought, you know what? I mean, I'm turning 60. It just sounds like a fun thing to do and exciting. And it was kind of a chance, to feel like a princess with a long dress and just to feel pretty.
It's been a really good experience for you.
Yes.
Would it have been nearly as good if you'd have lost? Or, well, don't say lost, if you hadn't been placed first.
Well, I mean, I'm one of those people that, what happens, happens. What's meant to be is meant to be. So if I would have lost, I would have been disappointed, but I would have been happy for the other winner, and I would have still come to the fair. I would not have learned as much probably about all the things that go on at the fair, but I would have still had a good time.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier you learned a lot about sheep. What maybe the biggest thing you've learned about sheep you didn't know before? I mean, you knew they had wool and you shear them.
Yes.
And by the way, there was somebody doing that this year. Did you see
yes, and actually Saturday night I had the opportunity to go on stage with him and do a little shearing myself, and it's a lot harder than it looks.
Oh.
And he's able to shear the sheep with just the whole coat comes off at one time.
Oh.
And I thought it was going to be kind of easy, but I got up there and it was not easy at all.
Did you have to milk a cow?
No, I did not get the opportunity to milk the cow.
It's not the year of the cow, the year of the wool.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, let's talk about. I've interviewed several of the winners of Miss Senior Wilson County Fair over the years, and I know you have a philosophy of life. I don't want to get to that yet, but talk a little bit about the procedure. What all you did? You got to show up. You're told, and I don't know how much rehearsal goes on or preparation goes on for this, but talk a little bit about that, if you will.
Well, personally, I about wore my family out rehearsing in my garage for the last couple of months singing. And then, of course, when we got up here, we had rehearsal Thursday night. We went through how to walk on the stage. We were able to do our talent if we wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that was about it, really.
Yeah. Who, Sue, are you with these ladies all that time? Are you the one telling them some of this?
Myself, and I have 4 committee members with me: Linda Spencer, Linda Bain, Jeanette Haston, and Frances Baker. So the 5 of us. At rehearsal, we meet with all the ladies. We talk to them. We make sure what they have to fill out an application. We make sure what they've got on their application is what they want the MC to read about them. And then, like she said, we went through the full rehearsal.
Yeah.
And,
so there are 5 of you and 5 of them this year.
Exactly. It just happened that way this year. Sometimes we've had 3, and sometimes we've had as many as 10 or 12. We never know.
Yeah. Well, it's been a good experience for you, no doubt. And you were crowned. And what was your talent? You must have been singing.
I sang a song, yes, called "Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow." From the 60s.
The Shirelles.
Yes. And Dusty Springfield also sang it. It was written by Carole King.
Is that one of your favorites?
Well, I just happened on that song because I was looking for something that was 2 minutes and 45 seconds or less. And I was just going through songs, and that one kind of popped up, and I was like, that's kind of has a good little beat to it and kind of different. And then I wanted something I could wear some white go-go boots with, so that kind of fit.
We haven't found out a whole lot of. I usually start a different way, but I guess I got off track this morning. But I want to know where you grew up. Are you a native Wilson County, and what have you done for the 60 years of your life?
Well, actually, I grew up in Mount Pleasant, Tennessee, which is down below Columbia. Mm-hmm. So I was raised out in the country. And I go to Mule Day every year. That's a big event for me. My family still lives down there.
I have heard of Mule Day. Once upon a time at this place, we had an owner named Jack Hendrickson who met his wife, Sarah, at Mule Day. He used to tell about that. That's quite an occasion, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a huge event. They usually bring around 250,000 people. The parade is really fun. You have to like mules and horses, that's for sure. If you don't, you'd probably be bored. But I think mules, that's one of my favorite animals. So when I got to hand out the ribbons and the trophies at the mule show the other day, that was right down my alley.
Yeah. So you grew up there. Then
Mount Pleasant, yes.
You go to high school, Mount Pleasant High?
I went to high school, Mount Pleasant High. I was in the band, played the French horn. And then I actually got married at an early age. Then I ended up going to college at Columbia State, got my nursing degree, and moved to Nashville in 1982 and worked at Baptist for a little while. And then went to Old Donaldson Hospital there in Donaldson for a long time. Now I'm at Premier Orthopedic Surgery Center. I've been a nurse for 37 years, and I'm the administrator at that surgery center.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you've just had a career being a nurse then.
Yes, I have.
You could probably write a few books about that. If,
yes, I could.
Any particular reason you chose that? That's something you thought you'd
In
be
nursing?
good at? Yeah.
Well, I knew it was a good, stable career, and it would take me far. And then the more I'm in it, the more I realize that I love helping people and dealing, with that kind of thing. I think part of that comes from my growing up with my grandmother, my mother, watching them treat people in a good way, and that's just kind of what I learned. So that's just how I'm comfortable with doing that.
Now, tell us about your family.
Well, currently I'm married to my husband, Kerry, for 19 years, and between us we have 4 children and 8 grandchildren. 2 of our grandchildren, his almost 24-year-old granddaughter lives with us, and she works at one of the orthopedic groups. And then I have a 15-year-old granddaughter that lives with me. She'll be 16 in a few weeks, and she just started high school this year.
Did anybody ever have a problem with your last name? It is spelled Soule. Is that supposed to be one syllable or 2? I was told it's like Sewell, and I'm thinking of Sewell, which is almost 2 syllables. And I'm thinking it's really Sewell, one syllable.
Yes.
Okay. Soule, Sewell. All right.
We
Natalie
have trouble
Sewell.
all the time. That's why when we go out to eat, we usually give a different last name. But now we may have to give this name since I'm Miss Senior Wilson County. People will be like, how did you have a different name? So we're going to have to get used to giving this name and just making sure they say it correctly.
One of the big things in this pageant has to be your philosophy of life. The judges pay quite a bit of attention to that, don't they, Sue?
That and the interview are the major 2.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the interview first. Were you pleased with the interview?
I wasn't sure. I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, I just answered the questions as honestly as I could.
Kind of like you're doing here.
Yes. You don't know what they're going to ask you. And so I just tried to give the best answer I could at the time. So I actually didn't think I did that really good of a job, but I guess I did okay.
Yeah. Your philosophy of life. Can you tell us that quickly here?
Yes. So my philosophy was that my husband is always asking me how I can be so hopeful and optimistic when things happen in life, only to be disappointed later. And disappointment to me only comes when you don't have hope and faith. Hope and faith, along with the love and grace of Jesus, are the things that lead me through my life. Disappointment comes from your mind, but hope and faith come from deep within your heart and soul, and I choose to lead my life through my heart.
All right, this
I'll top that.
This is the beginning of another trip she's on now, being the winner here, right?
Yes, she will go on and compete in the state pageant in April in Crossville. And when she wins that, she will go on and compete in the national pageant in Atlantic City.
Well, I guess it is for sure something to look forward to.
Yes, I'm extremely excited.
Any other exciting things from the fair that you might recall here? By the way, we had the second largest attendance ever.
I saw that on the news this morning.
Yeah.
Yes,
and I have the figures here, but
the first two night, first Friday and first Saturday were record attendances. None of the others were. We've had bigger attendances all the other days, but all of them put together still the second largest. So I think nearly everybody, maybe even Randall Clemens, is pleased. We hope so. But any other thing you did you want to tell us quickly about here? We got about a minute and a half.
Well, I enjoyed all the day where I had the breakfast, the lunch, and the dinner.
That was quite a day, wasn't it?
Yes.
The farmer's breakfast with the governor was there.
Yes.
The Century Farms at lunch, and then the VIP dinner in the evening.
Yes.
And
then the old timers breakfast. That was a lot of fun too.
Yeah. So you got to be a part of all of that and be recognized, of course. And
say the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah.
Great giveaway the other night. Which we managed to have not in the rain, but after the rain. So you've had quite a week, I guess.
Yes, it's been a week between coming to the fair and then going back to work and coming back to the fair, but it's been a wonderful experience, and everybody was just so nice and, recognize you as the queen. I mean, that was really something.
Yeah. Well, we certainly wish you well as you continue the competition here. And as far as your career, you still plan to be a nurse or in the nursing field for the foreseeable future?
Yes, as far as I know, I'm going to continue where I'm at for a little while still.
Well, Natalie, thanks for coming this morning.
Thank you very much.
Natalie, we thank you for setting this up and for being here and for really for all you have done for the community and all you even do for us here. And I personally thank you for being my friend all these years. And
well, thank you.
We've had a good relationship, and I hope it continues. And Natalie, again, Natalie Sewell, we wish you the very best.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
That is going to do it for a Monday. I hope you'll join us tomorrow for the Tuesday edition. And until then, I wish you a magnificent day.